All right, Switch Core, let's take a quick look at the Split Pad Pro. This is an officially licensed Hori controller that released alongside Daemon X Machina today exclusively for Nintendo Switch. I'm not going to get into gameplay right now. I just wanted to show you a quick size and feature comparison so that you've got some context whenever I start posting impressions using these with different games tonight and over the weekend. Right away, you'll see there's a considerable size difference and that the Split Pad Pro has full-sized shoulder inputs as well as a much larger analog stick with a broader range of motion than you normally get. All the face buttons are a bit larger, and the plus and minus keys are actual buttons instead of the weird little shapes that nobody seems to like. It also has some unique inputs like the rear trigger that you would use with your middle finger usually. This can actually be programmed using the assign key on the front, and you've got a turbo. So you pick up a couple extra features over the normal Joy-Cons, but it does come with some pretty considerable sacrifices. For one, these always have to be attached to the main unit. You can't use it while docked because there's no wireless connectivity. Now, for that same reason, you can't use something like a flip grip with it either. So there's that, and then there's also the fact that these don't have HD rumble at all. They also don't fit into a regular case, so it's not terribly practical for travel. Now, that probably makes it seem like you're losing a lot of features to use this instead of a normal pair of Joy-Cons, but that all depends on whether or not you use handheld regularly or not. I do. I'm 100% handheld. So this sacrifice might be worth it, especially considering the fact that these are $49.99 as opposed to the usual $59.99 for a pair of Joy-Cons. There's also some creature comforts to consider. You do have a regular D-pad on the left side that is welcome for fighting games, although I will admit, at least just feeling it at first, it doesn't seem to be the best D-pad in the world, but it is a regular D-pad instead of the separated buttons that you normally get. You can see on the side, these don't fit entirely flush to the screen just because of the added width. That's not really a problem, just an observation. And then you've got these little notches on either side that I assume serve a dual purpose. For one, if you lay it down on a flat surface, it won't press against the rear inputs or the triggers. But it also adds to the stability of the system because with the added width, you're putting more leverage on the outside, on the outer edge of the controller, and possibly causing some wiggle. If you've ever noticed that with your Joy-Cons, it would probably be a lot worse here, except for these braces do seem to add to the stability and keep them from wiggling quite as much. That's nice. But I guess there is a little bit of concern over these possibly scratching the housing of the Switch if you're not careful putting them on or taking them off, or possibly if you just put a little bit too much pressure on it. So there is that to consider. They are pretty comfortable. I do feel like this could be a nice way to play handheld. But again, because they are so large, it will limit whether you actually want to use it handheld outside of your home or not. So there's that to consider. Is this worth your time? I can't really decide that for you, but I am liking them so far. I don't regret the purchase. I do want to test to see how they really feel with every genre and not just Daemon X Machina. I'll be playing that tonight, and I will share some further impressions that I hope you'll check out on Twitter. As far as actually finding where to get this, that's been a little bit more of a hat trick. I did actually manage to pre-order these from GameStop, but that was a strange scenario where it was a placeholder SKU. Apparently not all orders through Amazon had been fulfilled yet, and just in general, there doesn't seem to be many available for purchase. I did speak to Hori, and they did say that they're working with distributors to get more of these in the hands of players, literally. So hopefully these will become more readily available very, very soon. Again, that's kind of the overview. The jury's still out a little bit on whether or not they are going to be great in every use case. but I do like them so far, and I think they will be a pretty good match for Daemon X Machina.